Contrary to traditional party beliefs on taxes, Republican Congressman Denham has declined to support the repeal effort of the gas tax, and Democratic challenger Harder has stated that he supports the repeal of the tax. In light of your stances on SB1, would you support a new gas tax to fund a federal infrastructure plan? And what would you do to improve transportation in general throughout the district? Mr. Denham?
Sure. Well, I'm proud to be on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, where I've not only fought to expand H-Train and move more people by rail, but also expanding our freeways. You know, the question is, do you actually able to bring money back home? Yes. The only grant in the entire state was on 132 in our district. It's because we've got one of the biggest challenges moving east to west and getting commuters. We have a lot of commuters here locally. So I've got a proven track record on the issue. I am opposed to raising the gas tax. It wasn't a position I initially came out and was very vocal on because I was focused on an initiative that I was pushing, the Voter Protection Act. I believe that anytime voters approve something, that the money's got to go where it says it was. We passed 2 different water bonds. We built no storage as a state. We've seen transportation money go to the trust fund only to see governors steal the trust fund money and never repay it. So I was pushing the Voter Protection Act, but I've been very clear. I'm against tax cuts. He's raising the taxes on gas. He's been on both sides of the issue. And it'd be interesting to see how he answers it today. But we've got him on video saying both ways. It's your words. I'll show you the video. We'll run tape later.
All right, Mr. Harder.
Yeah. I think I've been 100% consistent. We wrote an op-ed in the Turlock Journal. If you read your local newspaper, you might have seen it.
But I've also talked to the unions that you've changed their position, and we've got you on tape.
Okay. Mr. Harder, please, please. We're trying to get through these questions. Please, we're trying to get through these questions. I hate to ask anybody to leave. All right, Mr. Harder, please answer the question.
I've been very consistent about this. We haven't changed an inch. I think we have a huge infrastructure problem here in the Central Valley. There's 57 bridges in this district, in this county even, that are failing, according to the American Civil Corps of Engineers. I drive over one every single day, and I look at the rivets on the side, and I think, oh my gosh, I really hope Congress does its job and fixes this bridge before tomorrow, and I have to drive over it all over again. But we haven't seen it. We have not seen the transportation and the infrastructure funding that was promised. This is something that I actually agreed with President Trump on when he was running in 2016. He said we needed a massive dose of infrastructure. And what did we get? After he got elected, the biggest infrastructure problem that they thought about was privatizing air traffic control. I don't think that's exactly the biggest transportation problem we have here in the Valley. We have a lot of commuters, as the congressman said. We have a lot of bridges. But the reason that we do that is because Congress is not actually doing its job. And it's actually irresponsible that we have a member of Congress in this district who sits on the Transportation Committee, who has let our roads and bridges degrade further over the last 8 years that he's been in office than what it was before. We need to make sure that we're doing it. We need to be doing it the right way, which is being paid by Washington actually doing its job.
Thank you. Mr. Denham, do you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, again, I've got a record that I'm very proud of. In the 2015 infrastructure bill, we actually expanded, and I put the amendment in to actually create safety measures on our bridges. We want more funding to go to the bridges. Don't take my word for it. Talk to the county, talk to our supervisors. The 7th Street Bridge is one I talk about all the time, making sure that we actually get safe infrastructure in place. But look, when I was in the state Senate, we also worked on a state bond. Put $1 billion on Highway 99. You think he voted in that election? You know, it's one thing to criticize my position, but at least show up and vote. 17 out of 20 elections, he didn't start voting until he decided to move back to the district and run for office. If you want people to vote for you, if you want to take a position on important issues, at least utilize your right to vote.
Mr. Harder, do you have a rebuttal?
Thank you for bringing that up. You're right. I was complacent about politics. I don't have a voting record that I'm always proud of because the reality is I didn't always think my vote counted. What changed was the election in 2016. What changed was the last 2 years of seeing on every issue that I've always cared about, making sure that people have access to health care, making sure that we have immigration reform here in the district, making sure that we have the water infrastructure projects that were promised. On every issue that I cared about, we were being misrepresented. as someone that voted with his party 98% of the time. So you're right, Congressman, to call me out and say that I was complacent. But the reality is that complacency is gone, and it's all thanks to you. And the reality is we've seen that all across this district. 95% of the 3,000 people knocking on doors as part of our campaign have not knocked on a door ever before. So the reality is thanks to your efforts over the last 2 years, you're seeing folks come out of the woodwork to make sure that everybody votes in this election coming up. Thank you for that.